Evening, people. Welcome back to the channel. I don't know why I sound so sad. We've won 2-0. I'm happy with that. Happy with that. 3 points. I think we're now 1 point behind. 1 point behind West Ham. 3 points behind Chelsea. Yeah, you take it, man. You take it all day long, man. It was a terrible performance in the first half, but I think after the second half, we started to control the game. Jordan, obviously, back again. Post-match review. What were your thoughts on the match, man?
Strange-ish, like you say, performance-wise. First half, like it was a difficult watch again. But I thought overall, the most important thing was a bit of a reaction. You can see potentially a bit of an attitude change, and then of course the 3 points was most crucial. And I think on the whole, we got that. I thought I'm sure you'll come onto it anyway on a separate segment, but I thought the lineup was ballsy. I think it, in a way, it paid off. I think some of those players had, Rodon, I thought looked fairly solid. I thought Sanchez, again, as maybe other people would say differently, but I thought he played well. So, I'm fairly happy with it. Look, we didn't pull up any trees. Do I see this being a major turning point with us getting top four and things like that? I beg to differ. You've seen it, how many times have we done this where we get close to top four? The next game means we go into it, or we close the gap a bit more and we falter. So, I'm not getting ahead of myself with it, but much needed 3 points, delivered it, and it was good to see some of the fringe players doing well again.
I was muted. I was actually going to quickly touch on the lineup as well, because I said to myself I would reserve judgment until I saw how it panned out, because before ball was kicked, it looked like we were playing like a 4-3-1-2 diamond, and then but when what actually transpired was like a mesh between like a 4-4-2 and like a 4-3-1-2. Yeah. The lineup, I don't know. I felt that the team definitely needed a shake up. So
yeah,
even if Aurier and Alderweireld were fit, I would have Alderweireld aside, I would have still played Tanganga. Same. I think Tanganga has been a long time coming. He's just literally since West Ham, we ain't seen this guy. Like, I don't understand it. And I think Joe Rodon, like you said, Tanganga and Rodon they looked like our best defenders today. They came in, breath of fresh air. It's not even like they did anything like exceptional, but they just looked composed. They didn't cause any nervousness. They didn't cause any panic. They didn't cause any unrest. And it was needed, because in the first half, we were terrible. Yeah. I think we were so bad. Like, we were so bad in the first half. Couldn't keep the ball. Just kept inviting random pressure for no reason.
For no reason,
yeah. Aston Villa, though, I felt like they were impotent without Jack Grealish. Like, they were getting in behind from wide positions, especially on the left-hand side, but they just couldn't really work Lloris, because that final bit was completely missing. There was no cutting edge from them today, and I think ultimately it ended up being a comfortable game for us in the second half.
Yeah, I think spot on in regards to Japhet and Joe Rodon. I think you're right with saying they didn't do anything particularly spectacular, but I think that's a good sign when it comes to a centre back and potentially a right back. I actually thought I tried my best to focus quite a lot on Japhet today, because I think he's been unfairly missed from the side in a lot of occasions, and I would go as far as to say I think it was fantastic today, both in defensive duty and going forward. He looked more of a threat than Doherty's looked all season, and he's got the athleticism and the intelligence as well to actually be in the right position defensively. So I think he's fantastic, and it would be more than a shame if he's not in the starting lineup, after the international break. But you mentioned the point again, Tobes, and this is the thing. I think, the first half wasn't great, but I think again it's just down to the midfield for me. Like you said, we couldn't get hold of the ball, and I think it was a poor showing again. I think it was one of the better midfielders out of the three, but I thought Ndombele wasn't great. I think Lo Celso was really poor, albeit he's come from injury, and Højbjerg still didn't look right. But other areas of the pitch,
he wasn't good. He wasn't good. I think we only saw the best of Ndombele. Ndombele did that nice piece of skill in the first half, but that aside, he was poor in terms of ball retention, which is not something you associate with Ndombele. And then in the second half as well, yeah, I felt Lo Celso fought. He was passive in possession and he was a passenger out of possession. He offered us no protection at all. And yeah, Højbjerg, he just looked like a headless chicken tonight, just running around doing a bunch of nothing. I did feel at ease though. After he scored that second goal, I felt like, yeah, like that's when they started to control it. I didn't really get the Sissoko for Ndombele sub. I would have kept Ndombele on, and I would have probably taken off, I don't know, like Vinicius or Højbjerg, in fact, just to have someone in midfield who can actually keep the ball.
Keep the ball.
1 sec. I just wanted to shout out another player as well. Shout out Aziz as well for the super chat. Don't want to ever hear that. Don't ever want to see Dele in this team again. He's poison. Moura is the vaccine. Tobe, stop hating on Moura. I don't think Moura is the vaccine. Definitely not. But you know what? Hats off to him. He's been our best player the last month, probably. In fact, no, that's a reach. He's been our best player in probably like the last 2 weeks, I would say. Like he's bringing a lot of fight, man. Today, when heads were threatening to drop in midfield and in attack, he was doing his thing, man. He was defensively, he was sound. Offensively, always looking to carry the ball for us. Like I lost count of the amount of fouls he won us in Aston Villa's half. Just whenever we were under a little bit of pressure, he was doing his thing, man. And he was the one thing I loved about him today is he was a constant outlet. Whenever he had the ball, okay, he's gonna run into traffic and he's gonna do something mad. But listen, he was bringing the fight at least, and it's no coincidence that his perseverance led to our first goal. His desire to get that ball after Martinez's poor clear out ahead of, I can't remember who the Aston Villa player was, and then the give and go with Harry Kane, clever pass from Harry Kane back as well, and then the assist to Vinicius. I felt he was our man of the match today, and to be honest, he's been the only player who's been showing out in our last like two or three league matches other than Harry Kane.
Yeah, mate. We've had a lot to say about Lucas and the likes of Lamela and all these kind of fringe players, particularly this season. But as you mentioned, I mean, his performances have gone 1 or 2 levels up. But I think second to that, which is what we always ask, is he's always been one to give you one good game in 10 weeks or 15 weeks, and it was just never consistent enough. And he's stringing games together now. And again, with these kind of players, you can never look too far forward because you just never know when they're going to drop off again. But he deserves all the credit because, like you say, it's not just his mazy runs and beating a couple of players here and there, because we know he's done that his whole Spurs career. But there is more to it. Like you say, he's nicking the ball high up the pitch. His pressing's been really, really good. And like you say, it's almost like, in situations where the team is struggling, you would have never put your money on Lucas Moura trying to, drag them out of those situations. But, as much as I never want to speak about the Zagreb game again, I think even in that game, he was probably the best player on the night for us as well. So I think he's been fantastic and he deserves all the credit he gets. I just hope that, he keeps it up because, like I say, we've seen with these players, man, you can just see it. This guy just disappearing again, but deserves all the credit. His end product seems to be better. Actually providing some assists and some goals here and there as well. And he's indispensable at this moment in time. I don't want to say that going forward, but at this moment in time, he's crucial for us. He's been keeping the energy high. So hats off to him, man. Hats off to him.
Yeah, and Vinicius, another one today. I felt he worked hard. I don't really think he played that well, but listen, he's in that team to score goals, and he got the all-important first goal today, being in the right place and the right time. And I don't know, I feel like whilst I'm not a fan of this shape, simply because for large parts of this game, I didn't think we looked comfortable in possession. I think that he has to go with a similar set of players after the international break against Newcastle. Obviously, Son's going to be back now, so it'll throw a spanner in the works. But I think Vinicius has earned the right to start again. I think Vinicius has earned the right to start again. And like you said, I think Tanganga and Rodon 1,000% should start after the international break as well. I think you need to start giving these guys regular minutes as well. Like Tanganga, we've spoken about already. unexplainable as to why he just disappeared from the team. Because whenever he comes into this team, more often than not, he makes a positive impact. I don't really get why he doesn't play more. We need to start prioritizing the better players in this team and stop giving chances to players who continuously fuck up. And I think Japhet Tanganga is one of the few players that normally acquits himself well when he plays. So for me, him and Rodon, them already him, Rodon, and Lucas Moura already. Then their names are on the team sheet for that game after the international break against Newcastle. I wanted to talk about Davinson Sanchez today as well, because I don't like mentioning Sanchez. I do like him, but it's just he did a lot. It's weird. He does a lot of good things in the match. Like he made some good challenges today, got some good blocks, but he does so many things that just put us under unnecessary pressure. Giving away cheap free kicks, sloppy in possession, misjudging the flight of a ball when a ball's played in the air. Like, it's just weird, man. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I'm being harsh?
You're not, and it's a difficult thing because, like, you know, if you look at someone that's fairly solid most games, so if you looked at maybe Toby in his prime, if he had a game like this where he does a few things and he puts us under unnecessary pressure, you kind of let it go because of his overall stability and his consistency. But with Sanchez, the issue being is because he's so rash most of the time that even when he's having a fairly good game, he'll do something which, like you say, you give away a free kick in a stupid position, and it exacerbates everyone's reactions and frustrations with him because he just does it so often.
Rahul hit the nail on the head here. Tanganga and Rodon solid at the back. Sanchez had a decent game, but still looks so rash.
You're never comfortable with him. That's the thing. If he's having a good game, you're waiting for the fuck up. That's the thing. It's like you could get to 85 minutes and you're still thinking the ball comes into the box or someone plays the ball into feet, he's going to try and nick it early. There's just so much with Sanchez's game which worries people. I think, you know, certain things like, I told you before, even when he's playing well, I think he gets overexcited. He likes to fight. You know, he'll try and close someone too tightly when he doesn't necessarily need to. Gets involved physically when he doesn't really need to. And I think he just has that rush of blood. Like I say, even when he's playing poorly, he loses his head, and when he plays well, he loses his head. But ultimately, I never thought I'd get to this point with Sanchez, because there was a point where I didn't want to see him anywhere near the starting 11, and I didn't want him near the club. But he's ahead of Dyer for me at the minute. I think he's done fairly well-ish over the last sort of four weeks or so. But ultimately, as me and you have discussed, it's a big improvement in that position that's needed. But I think it has to be. I mean, I don't know. What would you say if you're saying that Rodon is in the side now for the near future anyway? Next couple of games. Are you putting Toby along with Rodon, or are you keeping it as Sanchez and Rodon now?
For Newcastle, I would put Toby and Rodon. I would play them. I would play them together. I feel like that's not. Yeah, I would play them together. See how it starts. I think he deserves another successive start. I don't know. I would go with Alderweireld and Rodon. See how it goes. Because I'm just thinking, you want Sanchez for like the aggressive forward with pace in behind, etc. But I'm just looking at Newcastle. I'm not sure if Callum Wilson will be back for that game. If Callum Wilson's back, then maybe I can see a case for Sanchez starting. But I would, whatever happens, I would play Joe Rodon. I'd give him another successive start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Successive start.
Go on.
No,
I was just going to say, I hope it's not another, because he had that good game, didn't he? And then the next game was Chelsea, was it? And he had a disaster game when they kept him in. I can't remember if it was the Chelsea game he played well, and then it was the next game he played, or the one before. But he had a good game. Jose kept him in, and he was terrible the next game. So I'm hoping he can string a decent run together, because you can see he's got some decent attributes. You know what I mean? He looks fairly quick. Positionally, he looks pretty good. I just think he needs a bit more confidence and a bit of a run in the team. So, so hopefully, sorry, bro, for interrupting. Just wanted to make that point.
No, it's fine. I was going to mention, shout out to here for the super chat as well. Where was this performance on Thursday? Exactly. Where was this performance on Thursday? I don't even think today was a spectacular performance. As we said, poor first half, much better second half. But we just got the job done. Like the key thing is we went there, we did enough to get the job done. And I don't really understand why we didn't do the same against Dinamo Zagreb.
Yeah.
Like if I asked you before a ball, but yeah, if I asked you at a certain point in the season, which fixture is tougher, Aston Villa away or Dinamo Zagreb away, you'd probably say they're equal in terms of difficulty, because really and truly we should be going to a side like Dinamo Zagreb and at the very least not losing.
Yeah, you know, already 2-0 up in that game as well. That's what I mean. I think that even adds to it. But yeah, 100%. But do you put that down to then? Do you put that down to a personnel thing where maybe people just, there's certain members of the squad that don't have like what Jose was saying after the game and potentially Reece, is that
I think it's both. I think the manager needs to find a way to motivate these players better, and I think I think the manager needs to find a way to motivate these players better. To be honest, I'm shocked that he's still in the job, and I think some of these players need to give themselves a kick up the backside and actually play to their level, like irrespective of how the manager sets them out. Like they're not babies; they're grown men. They have a minimum standard that they need to deliver on the pitch. And someone like Tanganga embodies that. Like even in situations where we were getting attacked on our right side today, like he was always there, never hiding. Like you see him right at the end of the 82nd, 83rd minute, puts that block for Ross Barkley. After Sanchez F's up with Aston Villa's attacker. Like that's what it's about. Irrespective of how others are playing around you, you do your job to the best of your ability. And for some reason or another, the last 2 games, we've just seen some of these players not do that, not give us the bare minimum.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's been spot on, and I think that's the thing as well. You know, sometimes, not all the time, you obviously want your best players in the starting 11 every time. But ultimately, if you're better players, you could potentially look at, say, Aurier maybe a better right back than Japhet, or, Doherty's got more top-level experience at Wolves. But ultimately, if they're not, applying themselves in the right way, then I'd rather have someone that potentially doesn't have the ability that those players have. But I'm not saying Japhet is that case. I think Japhet's very good, but I also think that if you're going to come on and you're going to apply yourself and you're going to run for the team, and like you say, stand up in their big moments and not hide, then I'd rather that every time. And I think Japhet embodied that completely today. Yeah. So, like I say, I think he deserves, to almost have that starting slot for the rest of the season, personally, because I think, like you say, it's tough to make top 4, but we're in a decent position. And I think he does better than both other options that we've got. So I don't think he should, unless, he puts 3-4 games together where he's absolutely disastrous, but I don't think that would be the case. Then I don't think you take him out, personally.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting position to be in. I don't know. I feel like now that we're out of Europe, now that we're out of the Europa League and seemingly in the race for top 4, you expect that these players should at least give their all.
Yes.
Try and get there, but I'm not convinced. I still don't believe that this team are going to finish in the top 4. But listen, you'll take 3 points every day of the week. A clean sheet as well. A clean sheet without Alderweireld in the team as well. Harry Kane back on the score sheet as well. Like, listen, we've had darker days. So like today, you take the positives, man. And 1 sec, I just got a super chat from Josh. Shout out, Josh. So Chelsea scum still in 3 competitions, us with only the league plus 1 game in the final to think about. What percentage chance do you give us to sneak in top 4? I'm going 30%. I'm going 20%.
I'd go to sort of 10, 15. It's what I said to you before, Toby, and I've said, even from last season, we do it time and time again. We get close. We get close to that top 4. We'll have a game in hand, or we'll be playing a team that's just above us. And if we win that game, we get into that position.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've capitalised on any of them opportunities since the start of last season. Yeah. So, it's a low percentage for me. It's possible. Look, I'll hold my hands up at the end of the season, but I don't think the players have the mentality or the quality of a lot of the other squads as well, to be fair.
Yeah. But I think this was our game in hand on Chelsea. We won it.
Yeah.
This was off the back of Arsenal and West Ham dropping points as well. So listen, if there was ever an opportunity to sort of stamp yourselves back in this race, I think this result could possibly go towards doing that. But as I said, we've got 9 games left. Yes, we've seen this team continually fuck up all season. Like, I'm not gonna suddenly expect that they're gonna do something different to what we've seen for pretty much the whole season. But as I said, I don't really want to complain and moan about today.
No.
Like
No.
we got the win, we got two goals. And also shout out Centurion. Centurion's this guy's been a regular watcher from the jump, man. Thank you for the support. Also as well, like irrespective of the criticism, we have to big up these players as well. Some of them played 120 minutes on Thursday after full 90 minutes against Arsenal. They're playing a full 90 minutes today. We give him stick because he is rash, etc. But Davinson Sanchez, he's got through a lot of football recently. Moura, a lot of football. Harry Kane, tremendous amount of football as well. So it's not easy on the legs, man. So I just hope that for the ones who are not called up for international duty, they get some rest. And I think for the ones who are called up for international duty, the international managers do practice some element of load management, man, because I feel like these are getting through an enormous amount of football. But yeah, it's without the Europa League, like theoretically, you have to assault that top 4 race. So let's see what happens. Just going through some more comments as well. So shout out Sustainable Shooter. What I like about Rodon is that he knows his limitations and won't try something flash. If he has to kick the ball out, he does. Yeah. He knows there is a time and place to play. CBs like Sanchez don't, in my opinion. Yeah, but I would very much swap Sanchez's name and put Dyer's there, because I feel like Davinson Sanchez, I don't think he's good on the ball. I don't think he tries to overcomplicate things. I just don't think he has the brain to make the best decisions at times. Eric Dyer is meant to be more intelligent, and yet he doesn't know his limitations. He thinks he can do more than he can actually do. And I think that's a good positive that you've mentioned about Rodon. Like when there's an opportunity to play out, he will play out. When there's an opportunity to play it short, he'll play it short. When you just need to head the ball, he'll head it. Like it literally just takes that right now to stamp your spot in our team. No panache, no flash. Just do your job when you come in, and it's calm.
Yeah, spot on. I think as well, like you say, it's almost a good thing coming from the Championship and coming into this side, because it's not like, potentially a Stones going from Everton to Man City, and you know that you're going to have to try and play this certain way. For him, it's almost like just coming up and playing his game. And his game potentially was that basic, like you say, just being a centre-half and being a good, solid centre-half. And that's what we need right now. Potentially, if he stays in the side, then you can add those extra elements to what a centre-back does in the Premier League these days. But I think it's better to have that canvas, do you know what I mean, a younger player, which you can work with and try and expand that way. But great point. Like you say, he just does the basics well, or seems to at the minute. So he's got to stay in there. Yeah, I was gonna round up with this, and some chat on Steven Berg as well. So Højbjerg today, again, him and Ndombele, they finished the game strong, but they're just too. It's like a rabbit in headlights for the majority of the match. It looked like, for Højbjerg more than Ndombele, by the way, he looked like he was well off the pace, and it's been the case for the past probably 5-6 weeks now. Ndombele, inconsistencies are creeping in his game, probably the last 3 or 4 matches as well. But sticking on the Højbjerg, are you worried at all? Like, do you feel like we need to give him at least a breather, or is it more a case of, okay, now really, really and truly, you're only going to be playing 1 game a week? That should take the load off him, and we should see better performances in the weeks to come. I'm not overly worried, like I say. I mean, not to the same level, but you said to me about Kane, and do I blame the last result on him? And for what he given us this season, no. It's a little bit like that with Pierre for me. I think he's been one of the most consistent performers over the season as a whole. Has he dropped off of recent? Yeah. Could it be fatigue? Yeah. Could it be that team performances has dropped off as well? Yeah. I don't think we've got a viable option to put in there that does his job, or even when he's not playing as well. I don't think Sissoko does it as well. I don't think Winks does it as well. So I keep playing him. I'm just hoping that potentially when next season comes, Skippy's got that place to be sort of either playing alongside him or rotating with him to give it more of a break. Yeah. But I'm not overly worried. I still think even when he's he's had worse performances recently than the one he's had today. I think he was a little bit better today than he has been. Has been recently.
I'm not sure if I agree, but yeah, fair enough. Fair. He has had worse performances though. Yeah, I can agree on that one.
Go on. Sorry. Go on. You wrap up.
No, you were right. You were right. Go on. You were talking about next season Skip being back up. YG mentions a CDM backup needed as well, and I think it is. He's played so much football this season.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that a bit of pressure needs to be taken off him. Yeah. It does look like fatigue because you can see that he's still doing the same patterns which he was doing before. He's just getting there a yard later. Do you know what I mean? With his pressing and things like that. So I don't think it's an overall worry. I just think, like you say, potentially with the lesser games now, not playing 2-3 games a week, and relying on him to be that anchor in the middle, could benefit him, especially with international break. Now I know he's going away, but hopefully he gets a bit of rest, like you say, and the managers are a bit more intelligent with it. But no, not a worry for me. Still has to be in the starting lineup for me. Still does that job better than Sissoko, Winks, and any others that sort of go in there as well. So keep. I don't know if you think any different, but
I agree. The form has been, in a word, it's been pants. He's been absolutely shocking the last month and a half or so. But and long term, I don't really have any worries about him. And I think, like you mentioned earlier as well, like I mentioned, I feel like the whole one game a week thing should help him massively in that respect. Bergwijn, people are talking about Steven Berg. He only came on for the last 10-15 minutes, but I feel like at this point he just looks allergic to being an attacking threat, and it's sad to say. It's sad to say a lot of people are. I understand you, but I'm still not giving up. I'm still not giving up. I still think we hold on to him for one more season. But a lot of people in the comments are agreeing with you, bro. A lot of people are saying that they're hearing your point of view. Sustainable Shooter said it. J Spurs said it. And I can actually see where you're coming from. It's just like he's not giving us anything. Like I'm literally just going off blind faith now, and the fact that we have bigger fish to fry, but it's frustrating, man. Seeing this guy come on and get into good areas and either go backwards with the ball or give the ball away or do something bad when he tries to take on a player. It's just, I don't know. Go on, you talk.
No, like I said, we're getting there with you, Tobes. We're getting there. I actually thought that this was one of his better cameos, and he still did fuck all. That's my point. Is you saw it again, where it's just a repetition in his play where the ball will come out to him out wide. He'll put his foot on it, and you think, right, okay, winger mentality, right, knock it past him, or try and take someone on the inside, and he just literally puts his foot on it. Looks back, passes it back, and then you just see him jogging into the centre. I just don't get the point in him. And I think, coming back to your point of, I'll give him one more season. Look, if we've got a squad where you're looking at a front three that are all firing, and then you've got some backups in there that are all firing, you're solid and you're winning games, then you can afford to say, that £30 million bloke that we got last season, let's just give him another season, because everybody else is contributing on to a level where his position in the squad isn't really that important. But ultimately, we spent £30 million on him. Bale's inconsistent. He might not even be here next season. And when you're hearing that, we can only buy players with funds from player sales, then I can't. I don't know about you. I wouldn't take the risk on another season of 0 goals and 0 assists, bro, for a £30 million player. That's just my point on him. I don't hate him. I think there potentially is some sort of player in there, but I think it's one of them players where it's too far gone now. I don't know how you bring it back.
It's the thing though, like whereas we're reliant on selling players to generate funds for this summer. Do you sell Steven Bergwijn and keep Moura for another season?
No.
They're outperforming. The thing is, they're outperforming him this season. He's been our worst wide man on form this season, simply because Lucas Moura and Lamela have picked up a bit of the slack in recent weeks. Bergwijn at no point this season has he picked up any slack offensively. Do you get what I'm saying?
Of course, but if you need to, like you say, raise funds from player sales, let's be honest, we tried to ship out Lamela for about 4 seasons and no one wants him. Even the fact that Bergwijn has got 0 goals and 0 assists, his age, potentially where he's playing at the minute, he's still an attractive proposition for certain clubs in Europe. You're more likely to offload him a decent fee than you are Lamela or potentially Moura. But I think I'd rather keep Moura than Bergwijn personally, not Lamela. But I just think if you have to raise funds, he's one of them players that you can ship out. And ultimately, as much as I've said to you, Ali needs to go and his time is up, he still contributes more than Bergwijn for me in terms of actual goals, assists, and things like that. So, and we're sitting here going, that guy's done, he needs to go. The amount of cameos that he's done and he's given us nothing. He still gives more than Bergwijn. And we're still sitting here going, I'll give Bergwijn another season. You don't see many people saying, give Ali another season, give Ali another 2 seasons. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it's fair to make that. I get your point. I just don't see the logic in it. Do you know what I mean? I understand. I feel like it's more of not an emotional thing, but more of just a will and a desire to see it come good. It's not actually based off anything, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he's not justifying the opinion that he should be kept. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. I feel like we've seen some of these players here for years, and we get crumbs. We literally get crumbs from them. I feel like we have big. As I said, just my opinion. I feel like we have bigger fish to fry.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
If we had a bottomless pit of money and you trusted this board to get even seven players out of the door, let alone 8 or whatever, then maybe. But I just feel like we have bigger fish to fry. But his form is a worry, and I feel like we can only bring up this bigger fish to fry thing for so long. Soon it's going to get to a point if he doesn't improve.
Yeah.
I don't just mean just this season. I mean even the start of next season, because I don't expect us to sell him. If he doesn't improve next season, then for me personally, then you have to start to question whether he's good enough at this level and whether we need to move him on. I think you can. In fact, you can question it now. Let me not lie. You can question it now, but I just don't see the club selling him. I don't. But I think that's it for us today. So in short, good 3 points.
Yeah.
Nervy first half. First goal against the run of play, but second goal eased the nerves. Harry came back in the goals. Lucas Moura, our best player yet again. Joe Rodon and Tanganga have to start the next game. And for me, Japhet should be prioritized as a regular occurrence in that right back position as well. I know Aurier's played well, but with Aurier running down his contract, 12 months left this summer, I feel like you need to prioritize the players who are going to be here long term. And if Aurier is not going to be here long term, play Tanganga. I have no qualms with Aurier riding bench for Tanganga. Maybe there might be certain matches where an attacking right back will be more beneficial, but for me, I'll be glad to see Tanganga in that position for the rest of the season. Anything else you wanted to add before we wrap up, bro?
No, I think perfect synopsis or summary. I just want to be positive. I'm going to take all the positives from today, like you say, Kane on the score sheet, Rodon, Tanganga. I've had enough of being negative over the last week or two, bro. So let's take it. Let's move forward. International break, forget about it. And hopefully, let's see if we can do a little charge for the top 4. I'm not putting my money on it, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, just one more thing before I leave. Couple players weren't on the bench today. I don't think Doherty was on the bench. Was he on the bench? Or I don't think so. No Winks, no Doherty as well. So maybe it's a sign of things to come. Because we did hear from Alistair Gold that Jose was going to shake up the team today. Obviously, Alfie Devine and Dane Scarlett on the bench as well. So maybe he's signaling into some of these players that, listen, if you ain't going to put the work in, you ain't going to give 100% on the pitch, then, bruv, your spot's going to be taken. But yeah, I think that's a good cue for us to wrap up. I've got some Line of Duty to watch. I'm sure you got some Line of Duty to watch as well. But, yeah. But folks, thank you for tuning in as well. It's like nearly 10 o'clock now. So if you're still watching, smash the like button as well. Cheers for tuning in. I'll be back on Spurs. No midweek game for Spurs. So interesting. I think I might be launching a new show this week as well. So look out for that. Either on a day between Tuesday to Thursday. So yeah, but until then, take care, people, and we'll be back after the international break.